I want to go to our White House correspondent, Phillip. Abby, a lot of drama over where you are today. Take us through what happened.
Well, Wolf, another White House meeting with Chuck and Nancy has ended with President Trump storming out and into the Rose Garden. What seems clear after all of the drama today is that talks of a bipartisan infrastructure deal are all but dead.
So I came here to do a meeting on infrastructure with Democrats, not really thinking they wanted to do infrastructure or anything else other than investigate.
President Trump today laying a Rose Garden ambush for congressional Democrats, blaming the breakdown in infrastructure talks on this broadside from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi an hour earlier.
We believe that the President of the United States is engaged in a cover-up.
Sources tell CNN Trump erupted over Pelosi's comments this morning, but kept the meeting on the schedule only to walk out after less than 5 minutes and without shaking a single hand.
And instead of walking in happily into a meeting, I walk in to look at people that had just said that I was doing a cover-up. I don't do cover-ups.
Trump now issuing an ultimatum: end congressional investigations or no legislation will get done.
I told Senator Schumer, Speaker Pelosi, I want to do infrastructure. But you know what? You can't do it under these circumstances. So get these phony investigations over with.
Sources say Trump was prepared to go forward with discussions on infrastructure until Pelosi's comments this morning. But Democrats say Trump carefully staged the walkout around this excuse for a clear reason.
Hello, there were investigations going on 3 weeks ago when we met. And he still met with us. But now that he was forced to actually say how he'd pay for it, he had to run away. And he came up with this pre-planned excuse.
For weeks, White House aides, including Acting Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney, had downplayed the prospects of an infrastructure deal with Democrats.
I think it's a much better chance of getting USMCA passed than there is of getting an infrastructure deal passed.
And the White House sent this letter to Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer last night, saying they wanted trade, not infrastructure, to be their top priority. White House aides denying the Rose Garden event was planned and insisting they rushed to put the event together this morning, even printing these signs with the president's favorite talking points about the Mueller investigation.
It's a disgrace.
The spectacle leaving Democrats in a state of shock.
To watch what happened in the White House would make your jaw drop.
It was very, very, very strange.
Trump's anger building over what he called the I word, impeachment.
All of a sudden, I hear last night they're going to have a meeting right before this meeting to talk about the I word. The I word. Can you imagine?
As Congress raises the pressure on Trump and his associates, issuing new subpoenas to one of Trump's longest-serving aides, Hope Hicks, and Annie Donaldson, the chief of staff to former White House counsel Don McGahn. Her detailed notes playing a key role throughout Mueller's report. Tonight, Pelosi is issuing a clear warning to Trump that obstructing investigations could lead to impeachment.
This is why I think the president was so steamed off this morning, because the fact is, in plain sight, in the public domain, this president is obstructing justice and he's engaged in a cover-up. And that could be an impeachable offense.
And President Trump is saying he can't work with Democrats until they stop investigating him. But there are some other major agenda items that are coming up for the Congress that the president is going to need Democratic votes for, including the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade deal and also some important and non-negotiable budget decisions. Wolf.
Keep the government operating. All right, Abby, thank you very much. Let's bring in our senior congressional correspondent, Manu. Raju. Manu, so do Democrats believe they were set up?
No question about it, Wolf. They believe that the White House, the president, used this comment that the speaker made as an excuse to scuttle this meeting because the two sides were still at odds over doing anything on infrastructure. The White House did not have a detailed plan in place. The Democrats in the White House were at odds over exactly how to pay for an infrastructure project. And the Democrats believe that this was all an effort to undercut that, what will ultimately be a futile bipartisan effort. Now, at the same time, Nancy Pelosi has been behind the scenes making those comments about a potential cover-up for days. She made it a comment on Friday and Monday night with other Democrats saying that this could be a message going forward to talk about how, in their view, that there was a cover-up that occurred by this White House, by this president. This is something that they have been saying behind the scenes. We've heard the speaker say it more bluntly today, but nevertheless not going much further than their messaging than in the past several weeks, where they've accused the president from obstruction and others in the caucus have accused him of committing crimes. So the Democrats ultimately believe this is all an effort to kill what could be one bipartisan accomplishment, even though the two sides were at odds over that key issue. Wolf.
Will the president's behavior today, Manu, including storming out of the meeting, move the Democratic Party closer to an impeachment?
At the moment, Wolf, no, because Democrats believe that most of them are in line with where Nancy Pelosi is, which is to investigate, to allow the courts to continue doing what they're doing. They are buoyed by the ruling that happened just this afternoon, in which the Democrats won in trying to enforce their subpoenas for financial records, a second ruling that they were successful in this week. Nancy Pelosi, in a closed-door meeting today, made that case, along with some key Democratic chairmen, saying, we are winning. We don't need to launch an impeachment inquiry if we're already getting this information. And that's prompted some criticism from people who believe that there should be an impeachment inquiry, including one congressman, a Republican congressman, Justin Amash, who's the lone Republican to actually embrace the idea that the president should be impeached, who today, I talked to him, he criticized the president's behavior today, but also criticized the speaker. What's your reaction to the president today telling the speaker that that they should drop all their investigations before even agreeing to legislate?
Well, I think that's irresponsible, but, it's what you'd expect.
Do you expect? I mean, are you disappointed that the speaker does not want to launch an impeachment inquiry?
I think the speaker is talking out of both sides a little bit.
So the reason why that Amash said that was because of Pelosi's comments throwing cold water on moving forward with impeachment, but also saying that the president may have committed impeachable offenses in a sense that splitting hairs, but also not moving forward with an investigation. That's what the critics are saying. And an example of that from this afternoon, Nancy Pelosi, when she sat down with the Center for American Progress, was asked whether or not she would get behind what a lot of Democrats are pushing for, which was to open up an impeachment inquiry, not necessarily voting on an articles of impeachment, but getting behind at least a formal investigation. And she said this.
I'm not sure that we get any more information by instituting an impeachment inquiry, but if we thought that we would, that's a judgment that we would have to make.
So not getting behind that idea at the moment, even though there are a growing number of members who do believe at least there should be some sort of formal investigation. Now, what Pelosi is arguing here is that the investigations are essentially doing the same thing as a formal impeachment inquiry. There's really no need to do something separate at the moment. And in today's morning meeting, I'm told that really only a couple of members made that case along with Nancy Pelosi. Now, that includes David Cicilline, the Judiciary Committee member, as well as Jared Huffman, another congressman who said that we should be getting behind an impeachment inquiry. One person went a little bit further, I'm told, at this meeting, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the outspoken freshman liberal congresswoman who said we should impeach the president, put pressure on the Senate to act. But decidedly, I am told, at that meeting, they were in the minority. Roughly 7 or so other members spoke up. They called for the getting behind Pelosi's more methodical approach, not embracing impeachment at the moment. And 6 Democratic chairmen also laid out their plans to investigate, and only one suggested that we should move forward with impeachment. That's Maxine Waters, the California Democrat, who's been an outspoken supporter of impeachment. So right now, Pelosi, Wolf, believes that her caucus is mostly on her side. They believe their strategy, going through the courts, getting information, is working. Going the route of impeachment is not necessarily where to go at the moment. And that has, at least at the moment, they feel like they got their caucus at bay. We'll see if that changes, though, if the White House continues to defy their subpoenas, Wolf.
Any reaction yet from Speaker Pelosi, Manu, to this second win for congressional Democrats over the president, this latest court ruling at a U.S. federal court in New York?
And Nancy Pelosi just came out of House votes. She told reporters she's very excited about this ruling. She said that there are 2 in 1 week. She declined to answer other questions after today. We do expect a longer statement from her in the aftermath of this. You've heard from other Democratic chairmen as well, including Elijah Cummings, the House Oversight Committee chairman, who has that other lawsuit pending before a separate court that he won earlier this week involving financial records with that firm Mazars. He won that case. He believes that their ruling in that case, favorable ruling, helped this in this case as well. They're very confident that in other instances that could go to court, they're going to win in those matters. But Wolf, some people who believe that the party should go more further, including Brad Sherman of California, someone who supports impeachment, just told me moments ago that's not going to stop his push for impeachment, just a win of a court victory. That's not enough, he said, because the Supreme Court could ultimately rule the other way.
Yeah.
Wolf.
All right, important point. Thanks very much. Manu, Raju up on Capitol Hill.